and welcome to Comedians versus the News. I'm Jess Solomon.
And I'm Jess Solomon's wife, Iman El-Husseini, but you could call me Mrs. Solomon if you are traditional or if you're airport security.
Tell them what you tell airport security.
It's Husseini, like Hussein, but Italian.
Never worked once.
From the BBC World Service, this is the show that takes you on a weekly hassle-free trip around the world's headlines. No visa required.
Remember travel? I'd even give anything to watch someone squeeze an overpacked bag into an overhead compartment. Our one-bedroom apartment has never felt so small.
It's brought us closer together.
The walls are caving in.
It's so cozy.
I can't breathe.
You also take my breath away. By the way, I got you the perfect Valentine's Day gift.
Iman, you know it's just a corporate invention to monetize the love we already celebrate every day. But what'd you get me?
Time alone.
Thank you, the woman of my dreams.
And this is how we keep the romance alive in the El Solomon household.
Indeed. And something that also helps is talking to people that are not our puppy, which we do once a week on this show. Joining us today are two incredible comedians.
Straight out of Hollywood, California. He's an actor, a comedian, a writer. And if that's not enough, he is both an Emmy and Grammy Award winner. My personal comedy hero, Patton Oswalt, is here.
Woo!
Guys, thank you for having me on.
We're so happy you're here.
Yay. Hi, Iman. Hi, Jess.
Hi. Patton will be talking to us about Trump's ongoing impeachment trial.
And yes. And from the other side of the infamous unfinished wall, Mexico's own, the hilarious comedian and host of the weekly podcast Leyendas Legendarias, Legendary Legends, Antonio Badilla joins us to discuss the candidates running in the upcoming Mexican election. Let's welcome our guests to Comedians versus the News.
Hola.
Hola, everybody.
Hola.
How are you?
Hola.
Hola. Iman's been learning Spanish.
I have. I was supposed to say, hola, Antonio, ¿cómo estás? Sí,
That's
sí.
really good. Estoy muy bien.
Muy bien.
Sí.
Wow,
¿Cómo
so you're,
estás tú,
you're
Iman?
like level 9 of Duolingo. and all
Right,
that.
exactly.
Amazing.
Exactly.
Whoa.
We're going to get into our stories that our guests have brought about what's going on in
yeah.
their corner of the world.
Yes, yes. Former President Trump made history as the first U.S. president to be impeached twice. Way to go, Don.
This time, Donald Trump is accused of inciting insurrection after Congress was stormed by rioters.
Patton, do you think in this case the second time's a charm? Fill us in on what is happening with this trial.
Well, it's actually interesting. For the story that I chose dropped on Monday the 8th, the day before the opening of the impeachment. And what it was about the Trump lawyers and their pre-trial briefing strategy. And one of their strategies to claim his innocence in the riot on January 6th was that where he gave his speech was too far away from the Capitol for him to have any effect on the riots. And their argument is, and this is in the brief, it is a half-hour walk. This is just about their desperation because, yes, he was still speaking as the assault happened, but the fact that they're trying to go, it's way too far a walk. I mean, come on. There's
Right.
no way they could. So it was such a great prelude to the insanity that actually happened yesterday at the opening of the impeachment trial. You know, that's what was fascinating to me, is that already they were going, let's just throw everything at the wall and see what happens.
It depends on what your definition of sound waves are. You know?
Sound? Yes. You know what? Again, yes, that's a very funny joke. I would not be surprised if during these next few days they start talking about literally anything. The frequency of the microphone that he was using, there's no way that it actually traveled far enough to incite violence. There's been they're going to try everything at this point. And I feel bad bringing a Trump story to this podcast because we're recording this today on a Wednesday. By the time this comes out, God knows what insanity is going to go over. But I just wanted on record that even before the trial started, they were trying stuff like, it's too far a walk.
So funny.
Come on. Like, that's just... mwah.
Well, these attorneys weren't his first pick. I mean, he's been trying so
no
hard
kidding.
to find someone. So he
Yeah.
finds, these two guys.
He found these guys who are well known for having defended notorious sex offenders. Does
This will be
Trump
fine.
even know what he's on trial for? Is it just
Antonio, can a president be impeached in Mexico? Or is this one of those only in America
yeah.
things?
There is a process. It's not called impeachment. It's never been done, as far as I know.
Oh.
So technically, the Senate can't vote him out, but like, it's even stranger because we don't have like a standing vice president. So the charge would go to because our president got COVID like a week
I
ago.
saw that.
Oh, he
everybody
did?
Yeah.
Everybody
his
who's
little-
downplayed, every president who's downplayed COVID caught it.
So that happened. So everybody was talking like, what's gonna happen if he dies? You know?
Right.
And I think the Army General, the Defense Ministry guy, is the one that steps in while Congress looks for another. So it would be a right mess if this happens.
Yeah.
Okay,
And
'cause
it's just not something that'll work.
This week in the news.
Thank you, Emilio, the only man we allowed to interrupt us. According to Turkish President Erdogan, Turkey will discuss withdrawing its troops from Libya if other foreign troops are withdrawn first. Foreign troops replied, "No, you hang up first. No, you hang up first. I thought you hung up." I want to take this moment to say publicly that I will clean the apartment if Iman starts cleaning it first. Never.
pet cats and dogs in Seoul will be tested for COVID-19 if they show symptoms. An announcement that comes a few weeks after South Korea reported its first COVID-19 case in an animal. It's official. Kittens in South Korea have better healthcare than humans in America.
We need to move to South Korea for the safety of our vulnerable daughter, Esther Honey. She kisses every dog on the mouth.
Okay, South Africa halted its vaccine rollout due to a new and more contagious COVID variant. Scientists were excited to find a vaccine, but COVID was like, allow me to introduce you to my new friend. She just got in town. Her name is Variant.
A constitutional crisis is looming in Haiti over President Moise's refusal to step down. The opposition says his term ended Sunday, while he argues that he actually has until February of next year. What is this? An authoritarian assertion of power or an argument for an extension on a college essay? The U.S. ambassador to Vietnam released a rap video wishing people a happy Lunar New Year, suggesting that perhaps relations between the two countries have become too normalized.
My name is Dan. I'm from Nebraska. I'm not a big city boy. Then 3 years ago, I moved to Hanoi.
The World Health Organization, WHO for short, began investigating the origins of COVID-19 this week in an effort to live up to their acronym. They really want to get to the bottom of whodunit. From New York City, this is the show that takes the headlines to is it a furniture store? Is it an independent bookstore? Only to find out it's an abandoned movie set. I'm Imanol Husseini.
And I'm Jess Solomon, and you're listening to Comedians versus the News from the BBC World Service.
Antonio, I understand that elections are coming up in Mexico this July to elect a new members of Congress. The candidates have recently been announced, and let's just say their resumes are pretty impressive.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of them even include a headshot. What can you tell us about these candidates, Antonio?
Right. So, first of all, this is going to be like the biggest election ever in Mexico because it's going to be mayors, Congress. They set it up a couple of years ago so that everything would match.
Wow.
So that it will be cheaper, right? So you vote for everything. And what our great country came up with is we have a bunch of candidates for Congress and a few mayors that are ex-soap actors and actresses.
Yeah.
But the greatest ones are, we have 3 luchadores, you know, those are the wrestling guys.
Yes.
And they're all the ones that wear masks, okay? So we have Blue Demon Jr., Tinieblas, and Catártico, it's the other one. So there's a whole problem now because the law has not considered if you can be on the ballot with your Blue Demon Jr., because you need your real name, but luchadores keep that a secret. It's like nobody knows. For 35 years, nobody has known who Blue Demon is. So they can't take off their masks. It's like a religious thing. And they can't show their real name. So they're going to have to go into a secret room where they'll take off their masks. So, you know, the people that do the elections go like, okay, yeah, that's him. And then he'll come back out. And this is something that's happening. So we're going to have to choose between a luchador or an ex-soap opera star that everybody forgot but now came back and it's gonna, write laws for our great country.
Are they going to campaign in their, not just their mask, will they have like the cape on and then the shorts and then shirtless, or will they, because I've seen luchadors also in suits, but they still have the mask on. Like, can they dress differently, but as long as the mask stays the same?
Yeah, exactly. When they go to, regular non-luchador stuff, they always wear a nice suit and the masks, this whole image. So right now they're campaigning, and they're dressed like that with their three-piece suit and the mask.
And
Wow.
why don't they just take off the mask because nobody knows their identity and just run for office without a mask?
Because they're
'Cause
running
they
on
can't
their
be a wrestler.
celebrity.
Nobody's gonna vote for them.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They want to use, because Blue Demon, I've been to a lot of Lucha Vavoom wrestling matches at the Mayan in Los Angeles. I've seen Blue Demon Jr. wrestle. The mask is the recognition.
Right.
He needs to wear that mask.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right,
Yeah, and
because
it's a thing
other
that you only take it off if you lose a fight where the bet was your mask.
Oh.
let's say Blue Demon is elected. Does he govern as his character? Like,
That
does he pass laws like Blue Demon would pass? What's his platform?
That's exactly what lawmakers are discussing. So I know my country, and they will probably change the law so that Blue Demon Jr. voted yes for Proposition 13.
Look, there's a rich tradition in Mexican culture, if you go back and watch the old Santo films, where masked wrestlers come and they fight an Aztec mummy or vampire. They come and they solve everyone's problems. So who's to say that a masked luchador can't come and solve that? Isn't that the ultimate monster, that the tangle of government? Let him take it on. Maybe he can solve it. We don't
I
know.
love this. Let's give them a chance.
Yeah, look, Santo took down the Aztec mummy, for God's sake.
He did. That's
he really
a fact.
did. And it is a fact. He did.
Okay.
And this is a
yeah.
common thing that actors and wrestlers and whatever run for politics in
Is this-
Mexico, or
no,
is this
this-
an
Is
exceptional
this a
time?
pandemic situation or?
It started the last elections when the new party came out, Morena. They won almost everything. There's this guy from Morena. He was an ex Cuauhtémoc Blanco soccer player, and he ran for mayor and he won. And the party said, "Oh, this is how we get people interested in politics. We get celebrities, and they'll vote for them just because they're celebrities." So this time they just went overboard. Also,
Look,
Okay.
it took them a long time to catch up to America using movie actors and reality stars. They took them a long time to catch up to our idiocy of putting Arnold Schwarzenegger and Jesse Ventura and they're just now catching up to how stupid we are.
What if one of these guys is Banksy? He goes in, and one person.
Banksy could run for president in Mexico with his monkey
Yeah.
hat, apparently.
Patton, Antonio, what do you think we'll look back on in 15 years and say, how are we okay with this?
Maybe we will look at this whole bunch of old white dude producers using the voice of a teenager, getting a hot teenage boy or girl to then sell those lyrics, to then get up. The whole process of that system is really, really creepy. And there seem to be slight pushes against it, especially in terms of people like Billie Eilish and Lorde, where it's actual teenagers are doing the writing and expressing what they're going through, rather than we get a team of 51-year-old Swedish producers to go, what do the teens like to sing, and maybe actually listen to their voices more, so that would be nice.
Antonio, if looking back 15 years from now at this time that we're living in, can
Yeah.
you imagine anything that we're gonna say, how are we okay with this?
I've been seeing this especially in my country. Right now, there's no COVID relief. There's no extra money, no less taxes, no food, nothing. So people are coming together. And I think people are going to look back and say, why didn't we do this all the time? If we just get together, I think that will change.
I wonder if we'll look back and be like, billionaires, how did we have
We
that?
let yeah.
Come on.
People had money that they were never going to use and never going to spend, but they just held on to it so they could say they had a certain number. And it just sat there and that was the thing that they would, in other words, what if the new brag became about I'm a billionaire. I keep this much for myself, and I live like a king. But my big brag is what I'm spending the money on to help other people. That should be the new swagger. That should be the new flex. Is
Right.
showing all the stuff that you've taken care of.
Yeah, like
all
check
these
out how
kids don't need
big.
to worry about school lunch for the next 10 years. You know why? Because of me.
Yeah,
And that's the new flex.
But I do have a conspiracy theory about billionaires.
Yeah.
I think they are breeding dragons. And you need a whole bunch of money. You know, dragons like to sleep on money and gold. So you need that, but they're keeping it secret. But they're
my
breeding their own dragons. That's why they need the billions. I mean, but they can't tell us. So
Right.
they look like jerks, but actually,
There's something
Dragon
else
breeding.
going on.
Yeah.
yeah.
From New York City, we are the podcast that takes the headlines to a microbrewery in a sketchy alleyway because the craft beer is simply to die for. I'm Imanol Husseini.
And I'm Jess Solomon. You're listening to Comedians versus the News from the BBC World Service.
Some people with a few pesos laying around decided to fly to Florida, not for the warm weather, not for Walt Disney, but to get vaccinated.
Ugh.
The
Yeah.
host of the popular Mexican hit show Con Permiso TV, funnily enough, didn't ask anyone's permiso to fly to Florida and get inoculated. Antonio, what can you tell us about this escandalo?
Yeah, so this guy, Origel, flew over there. And then this is where he messed up. Took a picture and tweeted it of him getting the vaccine. So everybody in Florida, there's still thousands of people that haven't gotten the vaccine. They see this guy from Mexico that just chartered a plane and went over there, get vaccinated, and they were like, what's going on? So Origel got his visa revoked. He will not get his second shot, and he ruined it for everybody else who, like, here, I live in Juarez, right? And El Paso is literally a stone throw away. I mean, our
Is it the
regular day
distance
of-
from where Trump gave his speech to the
yeah,
Capitol?
it's the same distance walking. It's less than that. So our way of life here in Juarez, El Paso is the same city. I mean, so you go over there for groceries, and they come over here for groceries, and we move about. Right now, the border's closed, unless you work over there or you're an American citizen.
Right.
But in El Paso, since they know they have a lot of people from everywhere and people that are undocumented, they said, we're not going to check anything. Just come here and get, vaccinated, because that's the point. It's not about who's who. It's just let's get everybody vaccinated. And nobody was abusing the system, and because you can't. But still, what happened with Origel, it was so big that now they're putting more attention to this, and they're trying to force, like, you can't give vaccines to non-USA citizens. And
Now that they made
it's hard-
sure all the rich people are vaccinated, they're like,
Oh,
that's
yeah,
it.
yeah.
That's it.
I mean,
more.
it's positive, I guess, in that he was such a bad example.
It's about vaccinating everyone, right? But I do think you need to take care of the people that are already there. I'm pretty sure what's going to save us here in the border is going to be when El Paso gets vaccinated and then they open the border, because I know they need Juarez to be vaccinated, because
Yeah.
our economies are entwined, right? So they need us to be vaccinated. So I think when they're done, they're going to open. We can go over there and get vaccinated, and our government's still going to be on phase 1.2.
I mean, Canada's not doing great.
Well at all,
Yeah,
no.
I mean, Justin Trudeau, our prime minister, bought up. There's been a lot of stimulus and money, and people have been supported. But and he got in early on ordering a lot of vaccine, but from a lot of different companies, not knowing which one would come out first, and so kind of spread it around. And some of them have been delayed. How are things in California?
Oh, yeah, with the vaccine, of course.
Have you been on a movie set? Maybe are
No, they
celebrities?
test me, but I haven't gotten the vaccine yet. I mean, I would feel so gross if I got the vaccine at this point. It's got to be the frontline workers, the elderly, and especially like if it would be so amazing just once historically, just to show the benefits. Swoop in and get all of the disadvantaged people first. Swoop in. Again,
Yeah.
that weird, do a gangster flex where you're like, I don't know what you guys are doing in these other states, but here in California, we took care of all the homeless people, all the frontline workers, all the elderly people first. Boom. And like literally do that as a flex. And these people like posting pictures of themselves getting the vaccine when you're this rich celebrity. It's like, where is your flex? Where is your flex?
Do you know what that means?
It's time for our game segment. Winner takes nothing.
Oh.
Nothing but the satisfaction of a job well done. But we have, you know.
Now I'm back in.
We don't have any.
Right back in. It's out. I'm right back in.
I mean, we don't have any prizes, but, unless somebody wants to sponsor this segment.
How about a blender company for Froze February?
That's not a thing, but I'm happy to help make it a thing.
Wait a
Wow.
second. I'm just hearing from our producers. We are not allowed to solicit sponsors.
Okay, well.
Wow.
In that case, thank you to the only sponsors we need, the UK taxpayers.
That's right. Yes. Thanks, Brits.
Pat and Antonio, are you game?
Oh, I'm
yeah.
game.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Game number 1, you guys. Complete the headline.
In this game, you have to guess the missing word in a recent headline that's covered by our puppy Esther Honey's bark.
The
Right.
latest thing on Zoom meetings, a live.
Pagan ritual.
Okay.
Briss.
Oh, yes. Okay. Both answers. Terrific. We've been to a few brisses.
I've been to Briss Zoom before. Yeah. Have you
We
been
did
to
two.
one? Pat?
Two.
Explain what a bris is.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, it's the Jewish circumcision ritual, if I'm not mistaken.
That's perfect.
The mohel comes in and implants some deep trauma into a young child, and then that child grows up to be an amazing novelist or comedian based on that trauma. And it's a long tradition, and it's amazing,
And it works.
It
and
does-
it really works.
They do.
Oh,
They do.
Go read some of Saul Bellows stuff. That works.
I love both of your answers a lot more than the correct answer, but the correct answer is the latest thing on Zoom meetings, a live goat. Goat is the answer. Cronkshaw Fold Farm in Lancashire, England, has been offering up their goats to make spontaneous, up-close appearances in virtual meetings everywhere in the world. Our writer, actually, George, has experienced one of these Zoom goats and said she is clearly letting the attention get to her head. She was barely making eye contact and kept leaving the frame. Diva behavior.
I so want a goat to show up at these Zoom meetings that I have to do every day. I would love if a goat just showed up on one of the squares. That would rule.
Game 2. Who said that?
In this game, you have to guess who said that.
Who said, "You people are going too far, rude and insolent"?
I was going to say John Cleese.
Okay, Antonio.
My aunt on a family Facebook thread.
The answer is a Myanmar military official said this about protesters in Myanmar. If only everyone could be more chill and respectful about the military overturning a democratic election. Come on, guys.
He literally has the tone of the 11-year-old girl who can't believe how immature everyone is being on this car trip
That's perfect.
about his coup.
That's so perfect.
And now it's time for our last segment, Ask CVTN, a safe space for world leaders seeking confidential, no-nonsense advice.
We're gay, but we give it to them straight.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going through my mailbag. All right, here's a good one. Dear CVTN, I've never been the, quote, popular guy, and I've been okay with that. I get what I need by commanding respect or fear, and if that fails, my go-to is propose a deal you simply cannot refuse. But lately, it feels like my tried and true methods are just not hitting the same. People are out in the street protesting me week after week, despite it being minus 30 degrees Celsius, and my police force doing their thing. It's like, okay, I get it. You don't like me. Oh, and there's this other guy they like. He's some kind of hero because he survived a poisoning. Big deal. People are poisoned around here all the time, and some survive. What can you do? CVTN, I hate to admit it, but for the first time, I find myself wondering, have I been going about things the wrong way? Is popular support important for a world leader? Should I release more photos of myself topless on a horse? What do these people want? And don't say democracy. Signed, Masculine in Moscow.
Wow. Okay. Okay.
Oh, you got a letter from Faye Dunaway? That's amazing. I love her. She's such an amazing actress. Topless, masculine. Sorry. You should. You know what you need to do? You need to just get away for a little bit. You need to reverse your valences for a little while. I suggest go to Branson, Missouri. There's a performer there named Yakov Smirnoff who has a wonderful theater. You can go and see. Hang out with Yakov for a while. Laugh, love. That's what life is about.
Live, laugh,
That's my
love.
advice.
That's
Yeah.
great advice,
That's great.
Patton. Antonio,
Thank you.
do you have any advice for topless or masculine in Moscow?
Masculine in Moscow, my advice to you is, first of all, you need to grow a mustache. You know, it's ingrained in your whole culture. You need a nice, lush, big mustache that'll help with your image. And then you need to come out of the closet and just be you. Ride that horse with your significant other and his lovely, luscious mustache. And just be free.
Amazing.
A
You
mustache
guys,
and a horse.
this is the best advice.
Be yourself.
Yeah, thank
Iman,
you.
do you have any advice for masculine in Moscow?
Sure. Listen,
You always
Vlad.
have a lot of tough love, I think.
Yeah, listen,
Yeah.
Vlad. Sorry, masculine in Moscow.
Moscow.
My advice is simple: put your shirt back on and take a good, long, hard look in the mirror. Are you the common denominator in all your issues with people? Because if you are, the problem is you.
Iman's always giving it to them straight. I
Straight,
think
tough.
straight, tough love. I'm going to say, I think what Iman is trying to say is sometimes we dismiss being popular as superficial and unnecessary or even weak, when it can be a sign that people are responding to your empathy for their circumstances and your efforts to make life better for them with your considerable power. Perhaps it might be time to earn people's respect without using fear, but by leading with your heart.
Beautiful. She's always the sweet one. So sweet. This was so
Thank
much
you.
fun. Thank you both.
Yes.
What a pleasure.
This was great.
Please
Thank you.
let our listeners know where they can find you guys. Antonio?
Well, they can find me in Leyendas Legendarias and wherever they listen to podcasts. And they can find us as Leyendas Pod, P-O-D, on Instagram, Twitter, and everything. And they can find me as El Badiablo, like Diablo, but B-A before.
cute. Nice.
El Badiablo.
El Diablo.
And Patton.
On Saturday, February 20th and 6 p.m. Pacific Time, got a new hour of stand-up material that I'll be doing. It's at rushtix.com, rushtix.com. You can go there. Twitter and Instagram at pattonoswalt.com. It'll tell you everything you need to know. All the stuff I'm doing.
We want to hear from you, our listeners, our fans, anyone at all, really. What did you discover about yourself during the pandemic?
Did you become a full-time doom scroller like me? Or have you been doing something more productive like cooking, painting, or even reading books?
Or like me, have you gotten really good at online shopping?
Or maybe you've cut up your wife's credit cards. Whatever it is, we want to hear it. Get in touch via social media using the hashtag Comedians versus the News. That's Comedians vs. the News. Or tweet at us at BBC World Service.
How did you even find my Diners Club credit card?
Oh, it looks like we've already heard from some of our listeners.
You won't believe who messaged us at Gucci Online Row. Iman, we miss you. As a valued customer, we have an exclusive deal just for you on our spring collection.
You're right. I do not believe it. But here's what a real listener had to say. Just Francis says, tons of fun. We need more shows like this podcast, especially during these difficult times. Every podcast brings a smile to my face. Rate, review, subscribe. A top-rated podcast is the only thing that can fill the void Iman otherwise fills with online shopping.
Our canine correspondent, Esther Honey, asks you to give us all the stars so she can let her friends at the park know who's top dog. Tell your friends.
Tell the world. Until next week, hasta luego. You've been listening to Comedians versus the News from the BBC World Service, presented by me, Jess Solomon.
And me, Imanol Husseini. The show was written by us with additional material from George Siveris. The producer is Olivia Skinner. The show is recorded in New York by Damon Whittemore and in London by Bob Nettles. The production team are Mugabe Turia, Jackie Nichols, and Nancy Benny, with digital support from Will Swagart.
The BBC World Service podcast team are John Manel and Al Riddell. The series editor is Rebecca Stratford, and the commissioning editor for the BBC World Service is Simon Pitts.